Well, fingers crossed we are live. It's been a while. So hopefully we're connecting to everything. And we can see what's going on. It says they're connected, so we're here. That's always a good start. Let's hope that they are actually connected and somebody's joining us. Just give it a couple of minutes to come through and see if anybody is there. I was supposed to put this up and I forgot. So we'll put that on there while we wait. So how's everybody's week been? I think we're in for a bit of a ropey weekend, aren't we? Just been listening to the news and it seems we're going to get some rough weather. As I say, we can't see any comments at the moment, so it may just be that our system is slow or I might be here on my own. Either or is fine by me. I'm going to whip that off and I'm going to say, oh, I think we've just turned to 7, so I would imagine that we're probably, oh, hey, Facebook is good. That's a good start. There's a few people coming through now. And hopefully I will get a YouTube is good. And I won't be on my own. If I am, we'll do the video. I know it's been a bit of a crazy week and hopefully it's been, as I say, it's been a while since we've been on live, so it's nice to be back. And YouTube is good, so we will get started. So today I've got a few things. We're going to be doing a couple of, or a demo. So we will talk you through all of that first. And then we might, hopefully by the end, I won't forget, I've got some samples to show you. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Jules. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Debbie. It's always a bit chaotic at the end, but I think you all enjoyed. Oh, everybody got pretty much finished, I think. So, and hopefully it wasn't too much of a drive home. So Debbie joined us at where were we? We were in Haydock last weekend. So yeah, bit of a shell shock for everybody, I think, by the end of it. Who knew 2 lines were so difficult to do? Hey, Debbie. Right. So I am also going to show you a couple of samples. Evening, Amanda. A couple of some finished samples of stuff that we did at the workshops and stuff that I did on TV, just in case you missed it. But to start with, let's go through what we're going to be using tonight. Let me take this one off. There we go. So we are going to be using our Fab Floral Art Stamp. I know this has been out a little while, but a few people have asked about working with frames and stuff, so I thought we would bring that one in tonight. Evening, Mum. We're going to be using the Splash stencil. We're going to be using our black cardstock and our white cardstock. Both come in 2 different weights. Hi, Brenda. 250 and 300 GSM for the white cardstock, and I believe this is 120 and 230 or 330, I can't remember. Either or, something around those lines. Amanda, hands down, Big Shot Plus. Amanda has, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Ooh, question, my Gemini is broken. Any recommendations on placement? I'm not a lover of electric machines, but if you do need an electric one, then I know the Big Shot, Ellison's have just brought out a new one. But hands down 100% a Big Shot Plus. It's the A4 version. It's the one I've got in every single size, apart from the dinky one, and that's only because I've still got one of my other ones that was still going. So I have it in the gigantic one, which is the professional. I have it in the Big Shot Plus. I have the 6-inch, and I will, when my other mini one breaks, I will go to that for the mini one as well. So yeah, that's 100% where I would go. Evening, Carol. Brenda, I'm not sure if I caught you. So evening, Brenda, and evening, Elizabeth. So back to what we were doing. Evening, Chris. So we've said what stamps we're using. Hi, Kathy. Black cardstock, white cardstock, blending brushes. I did have a little place to put all of these until I filled it. So, hey, that's me, isn't it? Blending brushes, the VersaFine Onyx Black, and Crystal Clear Embossing Powder. See, Jules, the same. It's definitely the Big Shot. we're using the sticky glue, which comes in the 2 sizes, the 30mm and the 120mm. We are using Distress Oxides in a whole line of them today. So we've got Peacock Feathers, Cracked Pistachio, Fossilised Amber, Picked Raspberry, and Worn Lipstick. Amanda, if you do decide to go for a Sizzix machine, give us a shout, because Martin will be able to get you a pretty good deal on it. Just let us know. Right, pens. Evening Dawn. Tipping with rain, Dawn. Oh, we haven't got it yet. I hear it's coming though. So we've got light pink 026. We have got bright yellow 52. Oh, and an anti-static bag. Yes, Amanda. And hi, Veronica. Lime green 409. Mint leaf 420. There's a lot this time, but we're only using a little bit of each. Turquoise green 042. Mimosa 502. Yellow 50. Light green 41. And last but not least, orange in number 70. 070. I'm going to pop those to one side for a moment, because I did mention I was going to do the card and then do the demo, show you some samples. Should I do it that way? Yeah, we'll stick with what I said. Right, you're all going to hate me for this one because we've got some odd sizes today. Sorry. So we have a 7x7 card blank. We have got a piece of black card, 6 3/4 inch square. A piece of white card, 6 5/8. I've got to test you, haven't I? And that's just because we don't want too big of a gap around the edge. I just want that black to just be slight around there. You can make it bigger if you want. Evening, Carol. Hope you and the family are all doing well. And then we have got to do 2 pages today. We have got part 2, which is black cardstock in 4 1/4 by 6 3/4. White cardstock in 4 1/8 by 6 5/8. Again, just because it's just a small smidgen all the way around. Then we have, last but not least, black cardstock in 4 1/8 by 5 5/8. See, I knew you'd love me, Amanda. And white cardstock 4 by 5.5 inches. All right, that is your list of card. So the first job is we take these off and we're still on the full screen. I knew you'd like them, Amanda. Carol, if those of you that don't know, Carol used to be on our design team. She's taking a bit of a break because she has twins. What are they, 6 months old now, Carol? And is Sophia 4, I believe. So yeah, it is a bit crazy. She's got her hands full. No fussy cutting, Amanda. I promise you there's no fussy cutting. Not unless you wanted to do it. So the first thing I want you to do is to take your 7x7 card and the front part of your 7x7 card. I want you to cut 2.5 inches off. Hi, Carol. So by cutting 2.5 inches off, that would take us to 4.5, 5, 6, yeah. So you're going to take the spine of your card, if you've got a trimmer guillotine like mine, to 4.5. 5, 6, 7. And that cuts 2.5 inches off there. I'm hoping. Yes, so that will cut 2.5 inches. So you've now got a front slightly shorter than your back. You don't need this bit that you've cut off. Put it in your supplies box. Hi, Kirsty. Right. I'm just going to give that a bit of a smidge of a press down because my scoring line isn't too great. There we go. So that's going to sit flat. That's probably the hardest bit you're going to do after you're cutting. 7 months. My goodness, Carol. When did they turn 7 months old? My goodness. And Sophia's nearly 5. My Lord. Where does time go, eh? So pop that to one side. We are now going to do some stenciling. So So as you all know, my favourite fab go-to stays on Make Art Station, and we are going to take our largest piece and the next size down. So these two pieces. The rest is just matting and layering at this moment, and we're going to stencil these. If it goes terribly wrong, I do have one I made earlier. Little tip I noticed when we were doing the workshops, and I did mention this to quite a few of you. When you are doing stenciling, and it'll be more obvious on the next one because this one is pretty much to almost to the edge anyway, and you're using a magnetic board, make sure you hold your paper down as well as your stencil. I'll explain that a little bit more when we get to the next size up. Hopefully it'll make more sense. Or sorry, make next size down, not up. It'll make more sense if I do that. So just opening all of these up. I love these colours together. I know you all laugh at me when I keep saying that, but I do. I forget sometimes how much I like them, and then I go back to them. Good evening, Tina. So grab all our blending brushes out of the cases. Bear with me a moment. Thank you, Dawn. We do try our best. I try and make sure that I don't sell anything as Honeydew Crafts that I wouldn't have myself. And so the quality has to be there. Fossilized amber. And then our pink. So we are going to blend through. So as I say this all the time, but blending through stencils is a really good way of working out the pressure you need and how much ink, etc, etc. And it also, if you're not great at blending those colours together, it works really, really well because you can blur the lines, so to speak. Now, it's not a massive card, so you don't want to be putting huge, big amounts of the same colour in one small space. So we've gone with the Worn Lipstick first. You can always go back. That's the nice thing about this. And then you're going to go with Picked Raspberry on top of that. I've got something, I don't know if you can hear it, but I certainly can. Something was rocking every time I did this. The whole table was moving and that was rocking. And then we're just going to merge those two colours together a little bit. Now we're going in with the Fossilized Amber. And again, I'm overlapping those two colours just a little bit. My Fossilized Amber is a lot more juicy than the other inks. Then I'm going to go back in with that pink just to blend those two colours together. Then we have got Cracked Pistachio. Now again, I've got quite a juicy Cracked Pistachio. I don't know how juicy it's going to... No, I didn't pick up my juicy one. I picked up my older one. So I have to work a bit harder with this one. In fact, if I can pick up my juicier one, then we'll grab it. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute, ladies and gents. If I can't grab it in a couple of seconds, we'll work with the less juicy one, which I think is going to be the case. Found it! Yay! This will be a bit easier. I never throw my old ones away because, although that one's well worn as well, I think. Because sometimes you want that slightly less juicy look. But I think I've well worn that one down as well. And again, I'm going back in with the Fossilized Amber where the Cracked Pistachio and the Fossilized Amber meet, just to blend those colours together again. And then last but not least, we have got Peacock Feathers. Now you're going to have to watch me do this all again, but I will do it speedier, much quicker on the next ones. And don't forget to remind me to show you. When my ink pads are getting dry, I store them upside down so the ink goes to the top of the pad, and that lasts a bit longer. It does with some of them, Carol. Some of them, particularly the oxides and the distress inks, they are what they call suspended. So the type of ink pad that they're in is a felt ink pad, and there's suspended inks within them. So mine are stored on their side all the time in a big box. So it does help with some of the ink pads, 100%. It definitely helps. I store nearly all of my other ink pads upside down all the time. But with these ones, they're just on their side. And they get a fair bashing with me, to be honest, Carol. So they do deserve to dry out on me occasionally. So we're going to go back in and do that little bit of a blend again. Hopefully, yeah, that's okay. So that's the first piece done. That's our large piece done. I'm going to quickly run over the second piece. Now, this is what I mean when I say you've got to hold the paper down as well. So if I put my magnets here and then tried to blend in here, that paper could easily move in and out as I do it. So make sure you bring your magnets in onto your paper. Evening, Sue, we'll let you be late to the party occasionally. Evening, Maxine, you sneaked in there on me. So again, worn lipstick on the bottom. So pretty much with this card, you're going to see me do nearly the whole thing from start to finish, except cut out those measurements, which you can thank me for later. So we've just literally finished. Last Saturday we finished the last of our workshops. So all the dates for the spring summer are released. I say spring summer because some of them are a little bit later this year, because that's the only way we could manage to get our dates in line with the hotels and other events that we've got going on. So a few of them are a little bit later on in the year than we would normally do. I've just noticed I'm going to take that pink up a little higher on that one there. Yeah, so all the dates are out on our website, but as per normal, our workshops sell out really, really quickly. Good evening, Sally. So we've got very few places left. A couple of them we are down to 1s and 2s. A couple of them we've been able to add a couple more spaces in. So we have got, I'll go through them later, but I think it's Portsmouth and Haydock. We've got 10 or 12 places on them. With Coventry, I think there's 3 or 4, and Bury, I think there's only 2. Amanda, we enjoyed spending Amanda's just put on here. Amanda showed up to our workshop on her birthday, brought cake, and didn't tell anybody it was her birthday until the last minute. So we didn't sing a happy birthday, but we did wish a happy birthday, and it was a fun day. Debbie, thank you for rebooking. It's always nice when people rebook, because then I know that they've enjoyed themselves. You never quite know if people are just being nice to your face. Hopefully you're all enjoying them. We do try and have a giggle and try and teach you something as well. So that's our second one. That's the hardest bit of this whole thing done. Now, normally I'd spritz that and use it, but I'm going to give you that little trick that a few of you missed out on at the workshop, because we changed how we taught it slightly at the end, towards the end of our workshop run this year. So I take a piece of kitchen paper. I saw that, Sue, you just did it, but obviously you only have to ping us an email. I'm sure we'll always manage to squeeze it in. Right, so as I've said before, piece of kitchen paper laid down, and then we're just going to rub this over with either a wet cloth, if you use wet cloth, or baby wet wipes. Those of you that know that I've still got those awful wet wipes that I had at the shows, and they're still as smelly. Amanda, I have a date for surgery. It will be a month before the February workshop. Do you think you're fated with that? No bruises, Amanda. I'd love to have done the Portsmouth one again next April, but it's our golden wedding. Oh, well, I'm sure that's a little bit more important than our workshop, Liz. Hi, Betty. Hi, Tina. We'll let you be late this time. So that's my little trick for cleaning your stencils. I will also just wipe my little board over. That is my most used. As you can see, it's very well worn. I bought this originally for my mum for Mother's Day and she didn't get it. Well, she did get it, but we borrow it a lot. Right, so I'm just going to pop these inks away just because I don't want to stick anything in them that I'm going to be using. Bear with me a second. I'll go as quick as I can, get them out of our way. I might regret doing what I just did, so I am going to quickly shove these in here too, because I probably should have just left that. Right. That is all of those bits and pieces done and out of the way. Just shove these away. So now we're back to a tidy table, ready to do the next bit. Ish. Tidy-ish. No, tidy-ish. Right, so we're going to go on to some inking. We're going to take that small piece. Now, I've had a few people ask me a couple of questions about stamping with a frame and avoiding this middle piece. And I said I would do it tonight just to show you how I do this. We always keep the polymer in the middle because it keeps the shape of the stamp. If I asked for that to be hollow, every time you took these off, these squares that are overlapping for the frame, you can't really see it at the moment, but these squares that are overlapping for the frame would stretch out and you would never get it perfectly level. So that's why we leave that bit in there. But I do know it comes at a little bit of a price to everybody. So a couple of tips for you when you're doing this, particularly with the larger ones, the wreaths and things like that, it's even more obvious. So you're going to take your stamp and you are going to roll it onto your block. That means there's no air bubbles in there. These are only they're 3.2 mil thick. And then the gap between the edge of this and the photopolymer that's underneath is only about 0.1 of a mil, maybe 0.2 of a mil. So any air bubbles that you get in there will mean that that piece is more raised. So when you go over it with an ink pad, that will pick up, which you don't really want it to do. So you are going to take your anti-static bag. Note, everybody, I remembered. Then you're going to take your ink, and the best way is you're going to ink the bulk part, so your flowers. You're then going to work around the edge of that frame, and then you're going to ink those flowers at the bottom, and then you're going to work around the edge. You can go over the top, just be careful. Don't press too hard when you're there. So you're going to ink around the edges and don't ink in the middle. If you get a small amount of ink in the middle, it's a slightly different texture as well because they've left it almost open, if that makes sense. So it's slightly more rough than your stamp would feel. So if you do get any ink in there, or you think you've got some ink in there, just give it a little wipe. You don't have to go mad. No, I took some ink off the edge of that stamp, so I'm going back in on the edge of that stamp. And that's all you need to do. Just work around the edges rather than going straight across that middle section. If you can avoid doing that, it will save a few tears. I'm going to stamp our image out roughly in the middle. It's a big stamp, so remember, give it time and plenty of ink. And press down where you need it to be. Should we try that again? ink our stamp up. I'm also going to raise my chair. I know you all laugh at me, but for me to get in the screen, I have to have my chair much lower than what I normally craft on. So I'll raise it up while I'm crafting and you can't see me, and I'll sit back down on the floor. It feels like it when I need to talk to you again. Right. Again, stamp down. Liz, you're always welcome. So we've moved our Haydock workshop to a brand new venue. We were there last Saturday. So that's the one that kind of covers the Leigh, Greater Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool area. And it was really nice. The lunch was amazing, which is all included in the price. And it was just a really nice place to be. I forgot it this time, Amanda. And that stamp didn't stamp out again either. That's me today. I'm having one of those days. So we will just brush over that for now, because I've already got one finished. So we'll use the one I've got finished. See, some of us have bad days with them. We're going to take our embossing powder, sprinkle that over the top. Now, if you're really confident, I would put my sentiment in there now. The sentiment I've done on the one I did earlier is actually from Picture Perfect, and I haven't got it here. So I am going to... Or have I got it here? Maybe I have. Bear with me. Let's have a look. I could well have it here. I do! Yay! So it's from the Picture Perfect stamp set, which again is also a small frame. So it's the same idea. And the only reason I'm saying this is because if you put the stamp on at the same time as you heat emboss this, you're only going to heat emboss it once, and it's less trauma to your paper. So I'll grab a acrylic block. So again, inking that stamp up. It was a really nice venue. A couple of our ladies stayed the night before and they did buy some wine. Debbie has just put a very good venue, even if the wine was pricey. I think wine's pricey in every hotel these days, to be fair. We stayed in a hotel recently for work, and two cup glasses of Diet Pepsi were £11. So yeah, I think everything's pricey in hotels these days. And pop a little bit of powder in there. Give that a light tap to take the excess off, and then we're going to heat it. Right, bear with us. So I heat from underneath. You've all heard me say this. Just because it puts a barrier between your heat gun and the air that comes out of it and your embossing powder, and we don't want that to bounce around because we're colouring in. As I say, I have already done one, so you don't need to be using this one, which is probably a good thing. And it does get hot under there, so mind your fingers if you do decide to try this. Those of you that do come to our workshop in Suffolk, we have actually got a new venue for that one as well, so keep an eye for that. There are only, I think, 2 places left on the berry one. I'm pretty sure it's 2 or 3. It's not many. 3 places left at Berry. So, right, so that's our topper stamped out. Ignore the fact that I'm missing the centre of my flower there. It happens to the best of us. Right, so then all I would be doing is going in and just colouring in these flowers. Now it's not watercolour cardstock, so it is not going to blend for me. If you want it to blend, do it on watercolour cardstock. It would make it a lot easier for you to do any blending. If you're trying to do it and it's not on watercolour cardstock, then you will need to use a paler version of the same colour. So if you're using a bright pink, use the, which one is it? Sugared Almond Pink is probably the lightest pink that I have in my little collection. And that would make it easier to blend the colours together. If you've got a blending pen, look after it. We're not going to be able to get any this side of Christmas. I'm told 8 to 10 weeks before we will get them back in stock. So if you've got them, look after it. So you're just going to go around and colour these all in, whatever colour you want them to be. I'm not going to colour everything in, because as I said, I have already got one done and I want to show you a couple of other bits as well. So Betty, I love this stamp. It's a really good go-to stamp for any occasion. Just change the colour up and it's as simple as that. And obviously it's different types of foliage on this stamp, so use different colours if you can, rather than it all be the same colour. It's nice to chop and change in with different greens, and otherwise it can look a little bit flat. So where it's a different type of foliage, use a different green. That's all I'm going to say. So we are going to then end up with one that looks like so. I've coloured the foliage in and I've matted and layered it a little with that piece of black. So I'm just going to use that. Right. As I say, I have done this already, but I will stick it all together so that you can see how it all comes together, just in case you're not particularly confident with what we're doing. So you're going to take your 2 different layers and your cardstock. And take our glue. And just position that centralish. And that's the nice thing about using glue, because you've got a little bit of wiggle room. Everybody's gone quiet. Now remember, we have blended different colours together, so you want to try and put them together at up the same way. If you don't, it's not a deal breaker, is it? But it would be quite nice if they were all up the same way. Betty, we're going to see you at Kent this weekend. Oh, not this weekend, the weekend after this. Not this weekend. Don't come this weekend, we won't be there. And again, we are going to stick the black onto the card first. It's not on straight and I can't leave it. You will go on straight, mister. And I've tried my very best to line the black up underneath here with the black that's on the top. A minibus full, my goodness, what, Betty, there'll be lots of you. So we'll stick that down. We're then going to take this other little piece we did, and remember, up roughly the same way, or up the same way. And how cool is that? Look, don't know if you can see, and this was not done on purpose. It kind of follows on there, which was a really just by mistake. That was very unplanned. And again, I'm trying to line those two up on the base as well. So hopefully we'll have something along those lines. When is the new release? Amanda, the new release will hopefully be our next Facebook Live, which should be 2 weeks from today. Which I forgot. It's the only date I haven't written down, which is probably the most important date of them all. So if anybody's got access to a calendar, Mum, Martin, if you're watching, please have a look and see what the date is in 2 Thursdays' time. And then we're going to pop this on the front here. It is going to be in the centre. So work that out roughly where you're going to put the glue up to. Remember, you're not going to glue this section, because if you glue this section, it's going to be messy. It'll stick to the back of your card, and you can't do that. So I'm keeping my hand there so I know I'm not going to put glue in that section. Position that in the middle. Thank you, Amanda. The 27th of November is our next Facebook Live. So we will be here on the 27th of November. I better make note of that. Can you believe that will be just before our last event of the year? Where has this year gone, everybody? It's flown by, hasn't it? Absolutely flown by. Right, so that's our finished card. Now, obviously, if you want to write in here, you can do it on here. I've left this page white because that's where I would write. So purely because I like that is what you see when your card's up. It's not what you've written in there, and my writing is horrible. So I think that works really nicely. So that's how a quick and simple card. And again, the instructions for inking around the frame. Work with the frame, try and avoid going across the middle. Now, I did say I was going to share a few cards with you, so we'll whip my mat out of the way before we run through again what we've used for today. Bear with me a second. I've just got to get to them. Right, so these are some of the cards that we did on our workshop and some of the cards that we have done that I did on TV. Somewhere. They were here. I've got some of them, but not all of them. There they are. Put them to one side, somewhere safe, just because I needed them. Okay, so you've seen some of the cards that we already did previously, but just to share with you. So the first one is using our quilted stencil. So we've got our quilted stencil, which we ran through the die cut machine first, so with an embossing mat underneath. So it gives you a raised finish on there. And then we've got our social butterfly that we stamped out twice onto vellum. Once I have done it in white embossing powder, and the second one on the top I have done with white opal, so it's sparkly. Jules, I know it will be with you very shortly. And then the sentiment comes from the social butterfly as well. So that was one I did on TV. Another one I did on TV, and I didn't let on to this on TV because I was having a bit of a chaotic few hours on TV. So I'll admit to it now. Right, Versamark on... Right, that's a good question, Amanda. So we used the mistletoe card. We made a mistletoe card on our workshop. And it... In fact, I will show it to you. We'll jump ahead quickly. And we embossed the the stencil through the die cut machine, and then we put Versamark ink on the top. So this is the card. Let me take this off. So this was the card, and it collapses down to go in a flatten an envelope. The way to get, and then we embossed through it with Versamark ink. So we emboss it through a die cut machine, leave your stencil on the top, Put your Versamark ink all over it, remove your stencil and then the embossing powder on the top and heat it. Versamark ink is really difficult to get off your stencil to begin with. Warm, soapy water, Amanda, you need soapy water, and just wipe over it with a sponge. If that doesn't work, then stamp cleaner is really good to take that off as well. So either of those works really well. So this was one of the cards we did on our workshop. So this was our Christmas card from our workshop this year. So you got a sneak peek on that one. So we'll go back to what we were doing on TV. So this is the card I made on TV using our floral garland. I had to think about that then. And the sentiment comes from Floral Spray, I believe. It might be with the garland. Actually, I think it is with the garland. And our cable knit stencil. I will admit, having lost my original sample card from the first card I was making, I also put this on the wrong way around. So I suppose I could have got away with it and put my sentiment the other way, but I didn't. I didn't let on. I just carried on like it was a normal card. But which is fine because this is going to go on one of our boards anyway, so it won't be noticed. But that is using the floral garland stamp. So I stamp this out, then I cut it out, fussy cut it, and then I fussy cut it again onto black card. So it really makes it pop. But again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to do that. You could just stamp over the top of your stencil. And then last but not least, the ones I'm going to show you on here. This was the one that I lost the original. Because you know, when I'm doing TV, I have here's one I made earlier. I couldn't find my here's one I made earlier. We'd got in a right muddle fuddle, but we did find it in the end. So this is using the spiral stencil, which thankfully, as of today, is now back in stock. And our Mystical Bouquet stamp. The sentiment again is from that social butterfly. So on to what we made at the workshop. You've seen one little sneak peek. Now I made lots of these, so I'm going to show you the different colours first. This was another one that we made. So this is using Botanical Display Elegant Foliage on the background there. It's Elegant Foliage die. So the Elegant Foliage die on the background there and on there. And the sentiment here is from Floral Posy. We have used Botanical Display stencil in the background. So we have it in a blue. We have it in pink. We have it in purple. We have it in turquoise. And we have it in yellow, orange, red. So the way this card works is, we'll go with the pink one. It's designed to tuck inside itself. So it opens like so, and then it sticks back together, like so. So that was one that we did on the workshop. You've seen the mistletoe die that we did on the workshop, so that was number 2. And last but not least, we did one using our Fragrant Corner die. So again, lots of different colours. We've got it in pink, we've got it in green and yellow, we've got it in orange and green, we've got it in blue and green, we've got it in lilac and green, and we've got it in as a deeper pink burgundy colour. That's what I like to hear. Sue says she's made this card twice since the workshop, and Amanda says she has made the mistletoe one as well, so that's always good. So, and again, so we've used the die on the front here. The sentiment is from our Right Words stamp set, and then inside it pops open to have your little flowers standing upright. So we've got the quilted stencil on here as well. So that is, so you get that kind of a look to it. But again, this one you could put all sorts on here. This could be, you could do it as a wedding cake, you could do it as a birthday cake, you could put balloons coming out of it. You've just got to be aware of the height that you've got here on the top, because you don't want it to stick out when you close it up. So this is a 6x6 card. So they were the 3 cards we made on the workshop. And obviously that was the pink one. When we did it with the other pink, that's what we were like inside. Then we've got the lilac-y inside. We've got blue. We've got orange. And then we've got the green and yellow. So they were the three colours. Well, see, you must have known it's the Norwich colours, see, Jules? Norwich City Football Club. Yeah, so we'll go back to what we were doing. So they were the cards I wanted to share with you today. So what have we used with today's card? So the pens we used were, run it over really quick again, orange 070, bright yellow 052, light pink 026, mimosa 502, yellow 050, turquoise green 042, mint leaf 420, lime green 409, and light green 041. They were the pens we used. The inks we used were peacock feathers, cracked pistachio, fossilised amber, picked raspberry, and worn lipstick. We have used the crystal clear embossing powder. So Amanda has said, request for Christmas designs next year. Please, can you think about Christmas gifts? Love the sketchy one, but can we have a solid line gift set, please? I will try and remember, Amanda. What else have we used here? I seem to have lost a few bits that I need to share with you. So we used the cardstock in white and black. We have used Versamark ink. We've used the sticky glue. We've used our blending brushes. And we have used floral art stamp and the splash stencil. So that's everything that we've used today. Oh, and the sentiment came from Picture Perfect stamp set. So I think that's all I needed to, before I put me back on. I need to shrink, otherwise you're not going to get to see my face. It's me again. So the measurements are at the start, so I'll just pop these on here for a minute so you can, if you need to catch back up on them, you can. Card blank was 7 inches. Then we've got various different sizes of cardstock. So that's our finished card. Hope you all enjoyed that one. Couple of things just to tell you about. We'll whip these off quickly. Couple of things to tell you about. This weekend you will find us in Lee in Greater Manchester. We're there for the Sincerely Yours Papercraft Show on Sunday the 16th, and that's open from 9:30 till 3:30, I believe. Then Craftorama in Kent at the Detling Kent Showground on Saturday the 22nd. Bye, Betty. Glad you enjoyed it, Susan. Then our last show of the year, can you believe it? I don't know where this year's gone, is the Excalibur Papercraft Show, and that's at the Motorcycle Museum in Birmingham, right across the roundabout from the NEC, and that's on Saturday the 29th of November. Then we have TV on Saturday the 13th of December, and we are on at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. That will be a brand new release, but we will be showing you the release beforehand. It may not be the all singing, all dancing packaging. I'll do my best. Hopefully it will be here. It may not be here in time for this live, but hopefully, you never know, it might be. If not, then there will be a version of it for you to see. They are due in that day. That's what I mean. It might be just a little bit out. And then, what else have we got? So, yeah, I've mentioned that's all the shows. That's everything done. So we're on in December, and then we're back on TV in January, on the 3rd of January, right at the beginning. So mentioned our workshops briefly. So we've got the Berry workshop on, which is at a new venue in Bury St Edmunds Town Centre, or it's just on the edge of the town centre. Loads of parking, walk straight into the room, which is brilliant. Those of you that have been to our previous venue, it was a bit of a trek from the car park to the room, so you won't have that at the new venue. Coventry, we are at our usual place. There's only a couple of places left there. Oh, excuse me, I've got a fit of the yawns. We have 2 places left at Newcastle. but I think they may well be going in the next day or two because somebody was asking me about those today. So you need to be quick. We do also run a waiting list for all of our workshops. There is always people on that waiting list, so hopefully they will all be filled up. We've got, as I mentioned, we did Haydock this last weekend at a brand new venue, and it was absolutely brilliant, and the food was fabulous. So I hope you all that did come did enjoy it, and we will be back there, and that is on the 28th of March. So Bury's the 21st of February, Coventry is the 23rd of May. If you pop on our website, Maxine, the workshops are on there. If you click on start shopping and scroll down, click on the actual event and then scroll a bit further down, and it gives you all the information. And then, so we've got Coventry on the 23rd of May, Newcastle is the 30th of May, Haydock is the 28th of March, and Portsmouth is the 18th of April. Again, not many places left. Carol, we do most of our flowers. I did see something that I missed, I think, as well. Carol did ask me something. I wish you would do a stamp set with different sizes of flowers. I would love the paper flower rose. So we do them with different sizes. All of our flower sets have 3 different sizes, and they have 3 different sizes of foliage as well. So all of our flower sets, Carol, will be 3 different sizes, but majority of our flowers that are made with one size. We very rarely will use 2 different sizes on our flowers. The paper rose I think you've been talking about, that is all done with one size. I think it was 7 or 8 petals, but it's all done with one size of flowers. Hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, I think that's everything. Amanda, no, we weren't charged for dirty tablecloths. I know they were, some of them were a little bit, but no, we weren't charged. So have a lovely evening, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us. Apologies we haven't been around for a while. We've just had a crazy, crazy month, which has just finished. So we were on the M6 3 times in 6 days. So yeah, we've done that a lot, and we're doing it again this weekend. So have a lovely evening, and we will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.